Here we go. Welcome to a new episode of Back Talk with Bauer. I am Josh Bauer, J Bauer Art, JB, whatever you want to call me. This is my new show that I have created in the mess of the world right now. I can't leave. None of us can get out of our houses. We're stuck where we are. We can't go see our friends or enemies or anything like that. So I have decided to start a show. Mostly the idea was to basically get in touch with friends, bother some of the people I know, a nice way to catch up with people, get names out there and all that good stuff. And now I'm apparently doing all kinds of different interviews. So the person that I'm interviewing tonight is a new friend. We have only met through social media stuff and interviews through Be Live, thanks to Hanging with Web Show and all that. So he is. We're gonna be learning about him together today. I've had a couple of conversations here and there with him, and been checking out Facebook, stalking him, and all that good stuff. But his name is Thomas Rochester. I hope I said it right. And he is an actor, cosplayer. Oh, he's shaking his head right. So everybody, welcome Thomas. Let's see if I can do this right. 3, 2, 1. Bam.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for hopping on and experiencing this with me.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to crack jokes.
Yes.
Terrible times.
Oh yeah, yeah. When we were doing that meeting with Garrett a couple weeks back, and we were just going back and forth and causing lots of problems for Garrett. I'm like, this guy needs to be on the show. I'm sure we could get along really well and have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I do well at ruffling feathers.
Yes. That's what I tell Garrett I'm around for, is just to bother him and call him Pop from every now and then. So.
Oh Pop.
Oh Pop. But anyways, so like I said, I've been stalking you a bit on Facebook, checking out a little bit of your stuff here and there. I try not to dig too deep because I want to actually have conversation and learn things as we go. But I also don't want to sound like a big dummy and go, what do you do for fun? So, so first off, are you actor, cosplayer, actor? What's the main title?
I like to say actor, cosplayer. I started cosplaying first, but then that grew into not being enough. So now I just let other people create characters for me, and then I become that character. It's way more fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So the cosplaying came first. So when did you get into that, and how did you?
I started when I was 17 or 18. I was a senior in high school. We had this superhero skate night thing, and I made a Thor costume out of a t-shirt, some pants. I made a Thor hammer out of a microwave box. So it was a Thor hammer, baby.
Big old Thor hammer.
I went and bought like special stuff just for it to make it look like chainmail, and I did that. And then it was, I think, a couple months later, it wasn't very long after that, I started working on my own, like one that was more accurate to the comics for Thor, and it was a Roman armor thing, and I really put in some time, and then they started releasing stills for Thor 2011, the first one.
Okay.
The second best one. And from there, it just blew up into an obsession every 2 to 3 years. I've made a new Thor costume every 2 to 3 years on average for the last 10 years.
I read something. I was through your IMDb and a couple other things because you're fancy and have one of those. So it says you have 5 Thor costumes. Is that the current count, or has it been more?
That is the current. I wouldn't say count. I don't have the 5 Thor costumes.
Okay.
I reinvent it, but I do have 1.5. Oh no, technically I have a total of 2, but 2 of them are half costumes.
Okay, so all right. Yeah, now, can we merge the 2 halves and make a really weird, awkward Thor? Is that possible?
I mean, anything is possible. One costume is the unworthy Thor, and I put in a solid 10 hours on strategically burning fabric, which my roommates were very unhappy about because it smelled terrible. And I just wanted to go shirtless. I was tired of wearing costumes that made me sweat really bad, and he had just become unworthy. Jane Foster, spoiler alert, had just become Thor. And
Okay.
so I was like, yeah, I'm going shirtless. I was in great shape. I drank a lot of beer at the time. We were going to a party. It was perfect. So I did that, and I still have, I mean, obviously it's shirtless, so I have that entire costume ready.
Nice.
And then the other half is it was, I guess, my third variation of my Thor costume that slowly had the fourth one involved as well. It was my Ragnarok one that I created around the time Ragnarok came out, but and it's now cut up. It has been repurposed, given new life. I actually have one piece of every Thor costume at some point incorporated in my costume now.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
Always repurposing.
Very cool. Now, is that the costume that is in your the logo that I've been seeing for the Thor Talks To?
Yes, that is my latest version. It is only 6 or 7 months old.
Wow.
It is very new, very fresh, and it is very, very worn in. It is probably my most worn Thor costume, in all honesty. Out of all the variations I've had, and if you counted up all of them together, I still probably worn this one more than all the other ones combined.
Okay, that's awesome. So just real quick, I want to say hi to everybody that's been popping in. I saw Billy Floyd from the Kitchen Killers, Angela from Everything's Fine and Dangy, I believe, podcast. I hope I have the right name. My mother-in-law, Mama Humphrey's, popping in. Dina and Crystal. Hello, everybody. Thank you for popping into Back Talk with Bauer. My guest tonight is Thomas Rochester, and I'm liking this. This is like you're my second. Technically, you're my third guest. I did one of these episodes in it was just randomly with a friend / fan up in the Northeast, and we did it over Instagram.
Oh,
and it's been really cool because like I interviewed Amelia last week and interviewing you this week. So with like Amelia, it's all fine and dandy. I was so close. It's all fine and dandy, which I will be on next week. We're doing like a crossover thing, but it's really cool that I'm getting to do this because I'm learning stuff about, old friends. I've learned about a bunch with her, learning about you now. So by the time we finally meet in person, we'll be like best friends.
Yeah. We just become best friends.
and as I've told many people, and I say quite often, if I can find somebody that can help me torture GW Palmature, we are the bestest friends ever.
Ooh, yes, Terry, correct. Thor, Rustler of Feathers.
Yes. Hey, Sherry, how are you? So we know there's the Thor cosplay, and I want to get into Thor Talks To in a little bit, but do you have other cosplays? I think I saw some other stuff in there.
I do. I have. I'm always randomly throwing a cosplay together just because I can. I have a Viking cosplay, which has become a Thor Ragnarok cosplay for my camera Thor, as I call him.
I was about to say that's just a Thor without a fancy hammer, maybe not the helmet or something.
Correct. Yeah. It's just a bunch of old costume pieces that were thrown together, and my camera guy Tyler, he actually has short hair, and we painted his face for Pensacon, so he would obviously be Thor Ragnarok. I'm always blanking on the ones I have because they're cycling through. I have a Star-Lord cosplay that
very cool.
I've worn once. Do I have the jacket to show off? No, I don't. I love the jacket. The jacket has gotten more use from Thomas than Star-Lord ever could. It is my favorite jacket to wear, and I love wearing it with a Hawaiian. It's my exact style, apparently. I have a Renaissance fair. I was in the Renaissance fair in Brevard, so I have that costume. It is the Sheriff of Nottingham. So much fun being evil.
Very nice. I can see you pulling that off very well.
Yes. I was everyone's favorite villain, and also hero, because I was clearly the hero of that story. If you ask me, I was never the villain. I was just doing what I was legally required to by the law of the time.
Exactly.
I helped arrest Prince John. Spoiler alert. I mean, that was years ago, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. I have a Joker costume, which isn't really that much effort these days. It's just paint a face. I got enough Hawaiians to pull off the Killing Joke.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't ever want to.
There's so many Jokers you could just do. I mean, and there's so many you could pull off. It's like, I do a Joker cosplay. Okay, we need to narrow this down a bit.
Yeah, I love the Killing Joke because I love Hawaiians. I now have almost as many Hawaiian shirts as I do regular shirts. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Goodness, there's another one that is right there in my face. Aquaman. Should have had a V8. I have an Aquaman cosplay that I don't use very often because my legs have gotten bigger and the pants were made for a smaller Thomas.
Uh-oh.
And I have been, there's some suggestions from some older ladies that makes me feel a tad bit uncomfortable.
You gotta watch out those older ladies, man. They will just,
dude.
And you got that long, gorgeous hair. I got nothing up top, so I just wear hats. But you got the long, gorgeous hair, and it equals trouble. You need to stay away from my mom because she's one of those. She just sees the hair and she's like, oh.
Yes, I've only been groped by older ladies, and it's always in costume. Once I was the Easter Bunny, and I still got groped, and I was very upset because I couldn't see who it was.
That's
I was looking out like my eye holes were here,
right
behind me. And when
who grabs the Easter Bunny's ass? That's one horny grandma.
Hey, that was a weird year because I worked with a girl, Easter Bunny, and she's like, someone tried to give me their number because they had a thing for the Easter Bunny, and I was like, do they know that you're not a bunny?
So you go out to the date later and they're not wearing the bunny outfit. It's like, I was here for the bunny. What the hell?
I just kept walking around as the Easter Bunny, and I would just quote Rise of the Guardians. I'd look at everyone and be like, I'm a bunny. And no one got the joke, and I was very upset.
That's a really good movie that does not get talked about enough.
I concur. It is one of my favorite children's movies. It's actually like the first kids movie that I was like, I love this movie, and I need this. And I asked for it for Christmas. I was 23.
Oh, I have all kinds of cartoon movies, and I'm 32, so I like cartoons more than real things, Matt, half the time.
Hey, that's pretty much all I watch on TV these days is the, Star Wars, Clone Wars, Young Justice, the Harley Quinn show.
Oh, you're hitting all the ones I like, man.
Oh man, it's so good.
We'll have to chat about some shows a little bit later in the show, but I want to focus on you for now. So you have a bunch of cosplays. Now let's get into it. We've talked about it a little bit, kind of walked around it. You have a show called Thor Talks To. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Please explain how this started, what the show is, and let's hear some details about it.
How it started. Well, once I was a baby and I was sprouted up.
Too far.
Too far back?
Yeah, too far back. We gotta come fast forward a little bit.
I gotta get a Deadpool cosplay because I would kill that.
Oh, very nice. And then keep the long hair too, because
it would fit perfectly and it gives me the face shape. And every time I've been Spider-Man, I pull my hair up and it creates the shell head, and I just keep my beard just large enough that when I put it in there, it contours perfectly. Looks like a shell. I eat a lot of hair, but I don't recommend that. Thor Talks To, we're going to get sidetracked really fast a lot. I started it because I wanted to interview some folks at Pensacon, and I was going to the Renaissance Fair already with a friend, Tyler, camera Thor, and I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with it and how I wanted to do it, and I thought, frack it, we'll do it live. So we got there, and I hero prep. I'd asked some people, hey, can I interview you at the show? And they're like, yeah. And I asked a friend who's in it who I should interview, and she gave me some recommendations. Shout out Emily Petrie, saving my life multiple times. And gave me a list of people I should try and talk to, and so I did my best to talk to them. I didn't talk to everybody. There's not enough time in a single day of the show, which we went to a day. We ended up going to 2 days because we got media passes. So shout out Peter. Thank you for that. It was at the Brevard Renaissance Fair, which will be back in January. You're welcome.
Nice.
For reminding you and me. And I just decided what I wanted to do. I'm really bad at self-promotions. I have ADHD and Tourette, so when I talk about myself, I feel very weird, very uncomfortable. So as Thor can talk about himself. He's kind of an idiot, which is perfect. It's my sense of humor. And I wanted to promote other people because I can bombard other people to, hey, watch this. But when it's me, I'm not comfortable doing that. That's why Thor Talks To has A, more videos, B, more viewership, and C, way more knowledge in the Twitter sphere than my other show, Thor Watches, because that's just me being an idiot in front of a camera for an hour and a half. But shameful plug here. Thor Watches The Mandalorian Season 1 is finally complete. You can go enjoy it. Aggressive spoiler warning. I spoil that. Clone Wars, Rebels, the whole saga. So heavy spoilers. If you haven't seen The War in the Stars, be careful.
Gotcha.
But I love interviewing people now. It's so much fun. I've bought lots of equipment and I've made placards, and the first time was winging it. The second time I went in with a plan. I knew who I wanted to interview. I knew what questions I wanted. I even printed up 5x8 index cards and placard one side with Life of Thor or Thor Talks To. I don't remember what the side looks like. And then the other side has all my questions with my intro and my outro, so I could not fumble and bumble the entire time and be way easier to cut around. Now,
hold on 1 second, Thomas. You're breaking up pretty bad. You're sounding like a robot.
Can you hear me now? Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I see you now. You're back.
Okay. Whew, that was all kinds of robotic.
I'm a robot. Now I'm a dude. Yeah.
All right. So you cut off a little bit in there. I think it was right after you were plugging the Mandalorian stuff.
Oh, it cut off after that.
Oh no, it was the cue cards. That's where we were. You got the cue cards, and then everything went robotic.
I made cue cards, and on one side is obviously the gimmick, but on the other side is my intro and my outro, because when I did it live, I had no idea what I was saying, and every time I went to edit it, it was something different, and if I made a mistake, I would do it even more different, and so that became arduous, editing that. So now I have a simple intro and a simple outro, and it kind of is simple enough to recycle for every version, because I like to copy and paste, because it just makes life easier sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So, and now I do it with a far more determined, professional, planned. We'll go with planned.
Planned. We like planned. It's not nothing too professional, but definitely planned.
Yeah, definitely planned. It's loosey goosey. I have a structure like an improv show. Shout out improv. You have general ideas that you want to do, and then in between you just wing it.
Nice.
And I'm really good at the winging it part.
Oh yeah. So how long has it been going on now?
What we're in January, February, April. We're in April now. Since January 26th is the first day I recorded as Thor Talks To.
Oh wow! So this is still relatively new and fresh and everything like that.
Yes, very new, very fresh. And so far I have 24 or 24 videos or interviews. I do believe that math works out right.
Okay.
I have 24 videos of interviews of various types, from musicians to cosplayers to other YouTubers, podcasters, filmmakers. I interviewed Anne-Marie Crouch from Power Rangers Wild Force. She played Princess Shayla.
Nice.
I love me some Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Crack, I've interviewed them. They're a lot of fun. If you've ever been to Brevard Renaissance Fair, you know that the Crack sets the tone. I wish I had a beer to cheers them right now, but next time. And then I always try and get, I've interviewed at the Brevard Renaissance Fair and at Pensacon, and I always want to get behind the scenes looks. I try and get to the folks who put on the show. Okay. Because a lot of folks have no idea what goes into putting on a con or a convention, or a fair, or even a concert, or just a small gathering of any sorts.
Oh yeah.
I like to shed the light on that because I found out the hard way when I was in college, joining a fraternity and seeing what really goes in on big events behind the scenes and philanthropy events and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I mean, even this CyberCon that we're putting together, it is insane, and there's not even a place or building or anything like that to be at, and it's still, it's a lot. We're blaming GW for all of this.
Come on, Pop.
He keeps trying to blame me. I came up with the small itty bitty idea, and then he blew it up to what it has become. I'm like, that's all you. It's not me.
You're like, that's on you, man.
That's all you. I just paint the pretty pictures and tell people to go see it. That's it. So you kind of touched on a little bit of people you've interviewed. So who is the person from Wild Force the coolest person you've interviewed so far, or who do you feel like one of the coolest or most excited that you were to interview so far?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I asked this question because I thought you were doing it longer. I didn't realize how new it was. So.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. You know, I'm trying to think who I'm gonna go with the one where the chemistry was just perfect. I might have to say my favorite interview, because who's the coolest? They're all cool. I've never had a bad interview. Knock on wood. If it is bad, it's going to be my fault that it's bad and not the other person's. I'm going to have to go with Randall Piper, the Bard. It was the perfect series of events. I was told to interview him. I had no idea what he looked like. I didn't know anything about what he did. I was in a Renaissance fair, and I vaguely knew what a Bard was. I just knew the word really, really well. Yeah. And I was setting up for an interview with someone I knew, and he just happened to be walking by. I was like, "Oh, what's going on? I'm sorry to walk through." And I was like, "No worries, man." And I was like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Randall Piper." And I was like, "Son of a bench! I gotta interview you. I was told to interview you." He's like, "What? By whom?" And I was like, "Emily Petrie." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And instantaneously, we just started jumping. We just started bouncing off of each other. We had.
It'd be cool if you were just jumping through the whole interview.
Jump. We just had really interesting chemistry. We were winging it very hard, and he in fact went out to the premiere of The Witcher, and he played music there, and he has a specific coin. I didn't put the coin part in there because I didn't want him to get mobbed.
Right.
Because safety first. Also, I said something really dumb, and I had to delete it. But I'd have to say that he's probably my favorite interview because I never met him before. I had no idea anything about what he did, and I made up most of the questions on the spot, and it was just a perfect series of random events that interview came together. And then he did some songs, and we lushed over each other's luscious, beautiful beards.
It is a very nice beard, sir. I have to give you that.
It was bigger then too. It was
oh damn.
I'm
sure Billy Floyd would be jealous because neither him or I can grow the beards much, so we stick to the goatee kind of things.
I will grow mine for you.
Oh, I'd love to see it. It's the time now because we can't go anywhere or do anything, so it's like you just come out looking like a homeless person at the end of this.
I feel like a homeless person right now. I wake up every day. No, it's cool. Like,
your light just gave up on you.
Hair all in my mouth, and I'm like, is that my beard hair or my regular hair?
Apparently, you look a lot like Lisa Baker's brother. Apparently, it's uncanny. So that is interesting news. So again, I did not realize how what's the best way? How short this has been. You doing this so far. So even now, like a few months can change from the beginning to a current time of what you're doing, how things are going, and everything like that. How much has it, like, where's it taken you so far? What is there some cool stuff that you got to be a part of because of it, or?
Well, yes, actually, we ended up getting. I bought my ticket for the Brevard Renaissance Fair, and I told Peter Mulhausen. I got it right. Yes. I got it right. Hype. Okay. So he ended up giving me I had scheduled an interview with him loosely, and he's like, "Yeah, you can get a media pass." And so I ended up giving my ticket to friends because he gave us media passes, and then I got media passes for Pentacon, which was really awesome because we kind of got to go into the vendor floor earlier in the morning, which I didn't do because I was getting other things done. You know, and we had media passes for MegaCon and for TallyCon. So that was like, it was building up really fast and a little overwhelming because, you know, I'm basically working 5 jobs at once and only getting paid for one. You know how life is.
Yep.
So it changed from just it's gone from this sounds like a good idea to now when I do things, I like put in all of my work is in my head, which is super dangerous because I shift things down. But, you know, it's to just making note cards, having my questions ready, knowing what I made an intro video out of it for all my videos. Now I've got that. I know what my outro is going to be. And it's kind of it's becoming more honed, which is really nice. And I bought a lot of equipment now for it. I have two mics, 2 phone holders for it. I've got 2. Should have been prepared. These little fancy things.
Yeah, those are awesome. It looks like a WWE wrestling mic now. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, dig it, brother. The crop booth, yeah.
Yes. We again, more and more friends. I'm liking. I can't wait to actually meet you in person. It's gonna be freaking fantastic.
Oh,
that's awesome.
The Funhouse match.
I did. Did you like it?
I loved it. I was. All right,
we got to take we're taking a turn into the wrestling field right now. So, you know, we wrestling people have to talk wrestling right now.
Yes.
But I saw people because I went to bed early. I was too tired. I had to work in the morning. So I'm an old man. What can I say? But I saw some people talking crap about it online, and I'm like, if it's anywhere near what Undertaker and AJ Styles did, if it's even half that, it's still going to be amazing. And it really was. It was weird as hell. I can't argue that. It was goofy as hell. But if you're looking at it real close on how everything went and how they went through John Cena's career and different things and what everything meant, it was amazing. It was the best they could do with the Fiend for not being in the title picture. It was fantastic.
And I'm hoping that it's going to lead to what the Fiend has done so far over the last year, which is change everyone's gimmick.
Yes.
We can
only hope.
Yeah. Help me, Fiend. You're our only hope. I'm hoping that John Cena is a heel. I know he's hoping he'll be a heel, but he probably won't. But I'm hoping he'll change it up a little bit.
If they don't do it now, this is the perfect time. They did it with there's no any other more perfect time than right now to do that with John Cena. And he could come back for SummerSlam or something. Hopefully SummerSlam is back with people. I'm not sure. Your light really does not like you.
It's not liking me. I'll turn the other one on. It's brighter.
But yeah, it's and a big shout out and hello to Amelia. Thank you for popping in, ma'am. It's good to see you. But yeah, we can well, we could get, you know, we'll have to do another one of these just talking about wrestling because I don't have a ton of people to talk about wrestling with, so it's we might have to get into it a little bit towards the end. So we talked a little bit about Power Rangers, and I know you're a fan. And when I was stalking you all through your stuff, I see you work with Rangers.con. Is that correct?
I am trying to work with Rangers.
Trying to. Okay.
Trying to. Ranger Stop folks, if you're watching, I love you.
Well, I've worked with Mikey here and there over the past. I was actually at the very first one selling my artwork of Ranger Stop Con years ago. So he and I have been friends and talked to each other. And I keep telling him every time I see him at a convention, you know, I'm like, if I make this amount of money, I'm coming to buy one of the original Megazords. And he's like, okay. And every year I keep like not making any money. So I keep lying to him. But yeah, I see you post a lot about Rangers.con. So that would be really cool for you to be a part of that and everything. It's a fantastic event. I haven't been in a little while because I've been cutting down on cons, but Ranger Stop is fantastic and they're growing. They now have the one in Atlanta, which is really cool.
And the one in Orlando. I actually went to my first one in Orlando because I happened to be doing grammar. I was doing an acting showcase with Anne-Marie Crouch. She's actually my talent manager.
Okay.
And she gave me a pass to Ranger Stop because she knows how big of a Ranger mark I am. It's not even a fan. It's a mild obsession. I don't have Ranger tattoos yet because I can't find the perfect one.
Mm-hmm.
All the others were easier to pick, but the Ranger one has got to be specific and it's got to be right. So I went and I walked into Ranger Stop and I didn't make it very far before I realized that the 6 years of dreams that I'd had of me just walking through places, looking at old Power Ranger toys and new Power Ranger toys and wrestling toys I used to have, it was that place. It was because I've had prophetic dreams before, and that was one of those ones where it was just like, oh, okay, this is what I've been dreaming about. And I saw Rangers in person that I literally saw when I was like 1 year old watching Power Rangers. So like, whoa.
It was really cool. I think it was the second or third year. I can't remember how many years I did in a row, but it was in the second or third year, and they had almost all the original ones in one time. The only ones they were missing was Kimberly and Jason David Frank, but like everybody else was there. And I have I made a big painting, like it was a 40-inch canvas of all the original ones. So I have a poster version of it, and I got it signed by everybody there. And the original Red Ranger saw my work and absolutely loved it. We talked a little bit. And then I finally got the last two signatures. The last couple of years, I met Jason David Frank in Lexington, Kentucky at a convention. And then I met Kimberly at MegaCon last year. Or Tampa Bay Comic Con last year. So she was the final one I needed to get, and I got her, and so that was really cool. But it's really crazy meeting these people that you were an uber fan of when you were a kid, and they come up and like the Red Ranger was coming down the thing, and he stopped in front of my booth because I had the original painting with me, and he absolutely loved it. And he like we started talking back and forth, and I'm trying not to geek out. I'm like crap. But it's so nice how big they've grown. I was actually talking to Mikey, the runner of Ranger Stop, about coming out this year and live painting at the event. So hopefully the event will happen when it's supposed to, and maybe we can both be out there and doing our thing. Maybe we could team up or something. That would be really cool.
Super powered team up. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We can be called our Thor.
What's that?
We can be called our Thor.
Oh, there we go.
Thor.
J Bauer Thor. So, how long have you been going? Have you been attending a lot of cons? Have you been going for a while? What's your deal with that?
Sporadically. My first con was in 2015. I went to Florida SuperCon. I met a lot of people. I ended up meeting. I saw Kevin Smith do his talk, which got me into doing acting, which got me into acting because he started, putting in my mind the idea of why not instead of just why should I do this? Why not? Why shouldn't I do this? So it was the first real major positive step towards acting. I had a bunch of deaths in the family that preceded all of that fun business.
Right.
And I met some Power Rangers, Brandon J. McLaren, who I didn't realize was the Red Space Ranger. I'm sorry, SPD Ranger, because I was watching him in Graceland, and I was like, yo, he's so jacked. And then I met him, and I was like, yo, he is short. Manu Bennett was there, and I was like, he's not 6'3", dude. Like, I thought he was like huge. He's a normal guy. So I'm like, wow. Okay, if my only thought in my head was I'm not tall enough or big enough to be an actor, well, that's out of the window. What excuse do I have now? So I started working towards that. My next one was Melbourne Comic-Con, Toyin Comic-Con. And then I think that Ranger Stop was my first major convention that I went to in pretty much almost 5 years, actually.
Wow.
I didn't have a lot of money when I was living in Melbourne. I was working I had reached my capacity at the job I was working as a personal trainer, so I was couldn't really make that much more money, and I moved back here, which is in the Panhandle, Lower Alabama, as most people like to refer to it as, and I moved back after Hurricane Michael hit Panama City because that's where I'm from, and so now I'm living in Panama City. I want to help people fix their houses, but I don't like insurance companies. So there's kind of that little hang up. And working as an engineer now with using the degree that I worked hard on getting and tried to never use, I can now afford to go to cons. So that is my goal, is to go to a lot more cons because I know that I'm going to meet people and I'm going to have fun. And that's pretty much all you need in life.
Yeah, I love it, man. So speaking of RangerCon or Ranger Stop, you would probably get a kick out of this. I think it was the first year. It's where Power Rangers and wrestling stuff conversed. I actually got to meet Xavier Woods when he was still with TNA. When he was what was it? Something Creed.
His Creed.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
He came out to the event, and I think he was a part of the event for a good year or two. So I got to meet him before he was Xavier Woods. And once he started hitting it big in WWE, I looked at my wife. I'm like, didn't we meet him at Ranger Stop? She goes, yeah, he really liked your art. I'm like, I'll be damned.
That is awesome right there, man. Yeah. I met people. I don't know if you've watched Power Rangers Unworthy on YouTube.
I don't think so. It sounds familiar.
Holy shirt balls, do I recommend. It basically ties into the Shattered Grid comic from last year, the year before, I think is when it technically had come out. So, but I ended up meeting some people there and had no idea that they were Instagram famous. Really, the one guy had a great cosplay and we chatted back and forth. And then I followed him on Instagram and he's got I don't know, a few thousand, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. And I was talking with some guy. We ended up watching football, drinking beers at the bar. And then I found out he's got 1 million followers on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And I was like, wow, that's an Instagram famous dude. I didn't even know. And we were just cracking jokes back and forth about, sorry, Alabama football fans, but we were cracking jokes about Alabama losing to LSU because I'm a Florida State fan. I'm really tired of hearing about Roll Tide in my home state.
Oh, man.
It was wow, who knew that you could meet famous people randomly and not know they're famous?
Oh yeah. All right.
Now you know.
Yeah. All right. Do me a favor. I got to plug in my computer real quick because I forgot to. So I'm going to put you full screen. Go ahead and plug where everybody can find your stuff, and then I'll be right back.
Hello, folks. Possible fans. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester, a.k.a. Thor Son of Dale. You can find me on the book face, or Facebook. I don't know how you say words. Thomas Carter Rochester, _actor. That is my public page that you can really get all of my video content. Instagram is also Thomas Carter Rochester. All one word, no spaces, no hyphens. Very important. How do you spell Carter, you ask? C-A-R-T-E-R. I said that really fast and I had to think about it. My YouTube is Life of Thor. If you search that and don't find it, do not fret. It is an up and coming channel. You can search Thor Watches The Mandalorian or Thor Talks To Pensacon 2020, and I guarantee you'll find at least one video that will take you to my page. TikTok, I'm at Thor Son of Dale. Bat Thor is a new gimmick. I got bored and made a Thor helmet that makes me look like Batman. So Bat Thor is now a new thing.
Awesome.
It is my next costume that I'm handcrafting from scratch. So that's going to be a journey. If I get quarantined and I can't work anymore, that's exactly what I'm working on, because I'll have all the time and nothing to do. There's one more. What is it? Where can? Oh yeah, Twitter. I'm on Twitter. T Rochester 749. I tweet about nerd stuff and football. So if you like nerd stuff, football, wrestling, if you like anything that I've said, even the word the and I, sure.
Yeah.
Follow me.
You have tweets just about the and I.
I does.
I does. All right, so let's talk about how you and I actually met is through this giant mess of a craziness that has become CyberCon 2020. So for those that don't know, Thomas and I hanging with Web Show and a freaking myriad of other people in 2020. It is going to be April 17th through the 19th, and it is a giant online free event that you can watch from the comfort of your home via Facebook Live. You just like this. You don't even, like I put in my post earlier today, you don't even have to wear pants. You could watch it and be pantsless. You could be naked. I don't want to know if you're naked. No, I don't want to know if you're naked, but you can be.
I was just saying that, like, Thor probably will not be wearing pants. If you see Thor, he's probably not wearing pants. Anytime you see me, I'm either wearing shorts or, I mean, sometimes I do wear pants, but it gets hot. It was in the cold season. But I'm really just, it's just the upper body. You don't need everything else.
So the awesome Terry, all the way from Ireland, of course, put in the Facebook handle so you could find CyberCon. So a big shout out to Terry, all the way in Ireland, as supporting all of us as he always does. Thank you very much, sir. So I've talked about plenty of what I'm doing through for CyberCon, which is live painting, hosting a podcast super show, and whatever else I can get my hands on in through the weekend. What are you doing for CyberCon?
Boy, isn't that the question? Now I have to remember everything I'm doing. I've been instrumental. Not really. I've been a part of getting a congregation for a panel that will be announced Thursday. No spoilers. I can't even tease it because I will let loose the words. Thursday, we will be Thursday, I will be announcing with Christian Ingram on his show a panel that we have together tried and worked hard, and we've got it going. We've got some folks gonna be there. I can't even tease it anymore. I'm gonna spoil it.
You're gonna mess it up, and I'm excited for it. So we'll both mess it up, and then we'll get yelled at, and then we'll be in trouble like we always are.
Exactly. God. No, Mom. Sorry.
Sorry, Pop Pop.
Yeah. Sorry, Pop Pop. And El Padre, wherever you are. So I've been doing that. I will be doing a live podcast, which is the one thing I forgot to plug. I'm so sorry, David. I know I'm a jerk. This is why I have to write things down before I do live videos. The Lights, Thunder Action podcast will be live for the first time on Saturday, April 18th at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
2:15? What's up with the 15?
I can't say because spoiler alert.
Okay. I'm like 15. I thought I had weird times with like 6 and 7 a.m., but 15 was a new one to me.
I sacrificed some stuff for some better stuff.
Okay.
Hear me talk all the time, and I don't like hearing that. And then I will be helping co-host on and off all throughout the 56 straight hours of content. It'll be fun. It'll be live. Thor may or may not have some beers ready for you to enjoy watching me enjoy.
Nice.
I think I said that sentence right.
Well, if you are around in the evening time, I'm not sure how it's all going to work out, but Saturday night, 9 to 11, I'm doing the podcast super show. So far, I have like all 4 screens filled. But if people annoy me, bore me, or we want to mix things up a bit, maybe we'll bring you on because you're a lot of fun. But I just did. I just posted it I think this morning. I actually got the whole roster laid out now. It is a podcast super show hosted by me, Josh of Back Talk with Bauer. I got to remember who I'm talking of at this point because it's either J Bauer Art, which I've been doing for years now, or now Back Talk with Bauer, and I'm getting him confused. So it'll be me hosting. The awesome Patricio from With a Side of Chaos is joining me. Pete Zeisenberg and John Hanan from Funny to Informing is joining me. And a new friend, but a podcast I've heard of a lot over the years, Rocky from What's the Fuss will be joining me as well. So it's probably going to be a chaotic mess. It is I've been on a lot of podcasts, but I've never hosted a podcast. So it's me trying to host these guys that are like full veterans of doing podcasts and everything. Patricio has been on everything, and he's part of like 500 different shows. I don't even know anymore.
Wow.
So it should be a lot of fun. I will say it's adult content. It is at 9 o'clock, send the kids to bed, and it's adult time. There will probably be a lot of swear words, a lot of craziness, and a lot of mess happening. So I hope everybody can join what I'm doing, and make sure, I know not everybody can watch the full 56 hours straight, but make sure to tune in throughout the whole weekend. You'll see Thomas, you'll see myself, Hanging with Web Show. I think I'm opening and closing the show with Hanging with Web Show. So there's that. Yeah, it's going to be great. Oh, we said Hanging with Web Show too much, and Sage popped in. Oh, and Dina. Oh, crap, we're in trouble. Is Pop there? Pop, can you hear me? Oh, Steven's there. The wonderful Steven Pomacher, the man, the myth, the legend that lifts heavy things and puts them back down. Thank you for popping in, guys. I greatly appreciate it. We were just talking about CyberCon 2020, April 17th through the 19th, and it is going to be insane. And I really picked bad times of everything because I needed my 2 hours of live painting. So, like, I'm live painting with the Kitchen Killers, so that's like 9:05 to 10 something or other. And then I have to be up and painting by 6 in the morning the next morning. Then I'm doing the late night podcast super show, and then back up on Sunday at 7 a.m. So I took Monday off so I could recover.
That's brave of you. I will not have Monday off.
Yeah, I took Friday and Monday off so I could be a part of the whole thing. Well, be a part of the whole show all 3 days, and then recover on that Monday, because I knew I was going to be feeling it that Monday. And I don't know if I'm getting my full vacation in June because of all this mess that's going around. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take a 4-day weekend and have a nice Monday. And Dina says that he can hear us, and I'm not trying to hide it, Pop.
Listen, Terry, we know that we invoked the name too many times, and now they're here.
They're here.
Kind of like man candy. Which, of course, we are.
I'm telling. If we get, we'll have to check. Sage sent me the panel, like the side panels that will be going on all throughout the weekend that are not a part of the mainstream, but you can still find at CyberCon Facebook page.
Page panels.
Yes, page panels. There we go. Maybe if we get bored, we can. And if there's any open spots, we could steal a spot and cause some trouble on the page.
I think I broke the sound barrier, but yeah, we're doing it.
I will double check. We'll see when some openings are, and we'll talk because I know your schedule's busy. My schedule's pretty busy with everything going on, but it's just, let's see. Garrett says hello. He is streaming to the big screen from his phone. Oh, isn't he fancy?
You see the zit?
You're all right. You're good.
Or big screen though. I don't know.
Oh man. So let's see. We got about 10 minutes left. I think we've talked all about the your stuff and getting it out there enough. I think we can geek out on some wrestling. How's that sound to you?
I am ready.
Okay, so if those that are not in the wrestling world and have no idea, I'm very sorry, but we don't get to find wrestling fans in between each other too much. So when you find one, you got to talk about all the new stuff, and the newest stuff was Wrestlemania. So Wrestlemania is the Super Bowl of wrestling. It's the big thing. It's the big show. It's what wrestlers dream of when they're getting into the wrestling industry, of main eventing Wrestlemania. As you guys know, hey, David, Vincent, Bob, good to see you, sir. So as you know, everything is in chaos right now. Things are messed up. You can't do anything live. You can't do any events. So Wrestlemania got taken out of Tampa and stuffed into their performance center with no audience, which if you think football and other things are weird without an audience, you should try watching wrestling. Even for a huge fan, it is odd as hell.
Super odd. The only match that felt like there was an audience was the Charlotte Flair match.
So they did it in the Performance Center, which is the training camp for WWE wrestlers. They made the first off, the whole place looked amazing. The logo was so huge on the left-hand side. It was awesome. I'm like, that has to be every part of it. I want it low, right next to everything, just giant like that from now on. So that was very cool.
Like ants.
I think my favorite part, because there was no audience, so you could hear every slam, every talk, everything going on. You could hear it loud and clear. So the wrestlers, since there's no crowd, the wrestlers started shit talking more. I think that was a fantastic new thing added to, and really brought the matches together. What do you think?
I concur. My favorite, the one that I really noticed it in, was the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match.
Yes.
That was the one where I think that was only like the second or third match on night one. And all of a sudden I was cooking, and my friend was laughing. He's like, dude, it's already weird, but like with no audience, it's super weird. And he just kept laughing. And then he's like, why are they talking? I'm like, they're shit talking, bro. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, let me turn it up. And I turned it up, and you could hear Seth Rollins just like, I'm the Messiah, I'm the great, like basically just Muhammad Ali, I'm the greatest. And then Kevin Owens, when he's back up, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
This was the perfect thing for Kevin Owens, because he is such a shit talker anyways. And to let him basically go free. There was a lot of swear words that went through too. A lot more stuff that was going out there that normally does not, which I think they gave them a bit of a free reign.
Yes, I noticed it was in the Raw stuff, especially where Paul Heyman is in charge, but on the creative side, and I don't remember who's in charge of SmackDown's creative side, but it's someone good.
Yeah, it used to be Eric Bischoff, but he's out now. I can't remember who took over.
Oh wow, that lasted as short as it. I don't know why I'm surprised. It
was like a month or two. Yeah, wow. It was. Well, according to Eric, it was only supposed to be temporary, even though he moved his entire place to where the WWE studio is and blah, blah, blah. But it was only supposed to be a temporary thing. I'm like, okay, whatever, Bischoff. But yeah, they did a fantastic job. All the matches were really good. There was some boring matches, but there's always boring matches through WrestleMania. I really liked the 2-night thing. I love that it was 7 to 10. I didn't have to stay up until midnight or try to stay up until midnight when I go to bed at like 9:30.
Right.
It was fantastic that like right at 10 o'clock it ended. I'm like, I can go to bed. This is great.
Yeah, that was my favorite part, that it was split over 2 nights, because I'm the same way. I got, especially when I lived on the East Coast, I don't want to stay up till midnight ever. I like sleep. I'm an angry person. Can you not tell? When I don't sleep, it's like 1,000 times worse, man. So I need the sleep. I need my calming sleep. It's not even beauty sleep. I'll stay ugly forever. I need my calming sleep. I need to stay zen, man.
If you're ugly, sir, I don't even want to know what I am.
You are proactively attractive.
Yeah. So what did you think? Because my favorite match of the first night, I really think, is the Taker AJ Styles match. What did you think of it?
Easy. Oh, as an actor, okay, so my friend realized while there's no crowd, it literally dawned on him. He's like, oh my God, I now know why I love wrestling. And I was like, why? He's like, you love acting. You've always loved entertainment and being in films and stuff like that. He's like, and you've always loved physical things. You love sports. You love the physicality. You love fight choreography. I'm like, exactly. And I was like, and in all honesty, dude, I didn't even realize that was the reason why, but that's exactly the reasons why. Like, I love it. It is exactly what it's meant to be. You get to be as athletic as you need to be and act at the same time. It's why I love doing my own stunts. If you're listening, I will do my own stunts. And that was the perfect culmination of both of them, because it was shot like a movie, protected Taker's limited ability in the ring.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a street fight, which Taker can win in any shape he is, because he's a genuine badass. He is the American badass. And my favorite part is that he came in to Metallica.
Oh man. So nicely done.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, "That's done."
And I have to say, it really felt, the whole presentation of it felt like a mix between an old horror movie and like those old 80s action movies.
Yes.
I mean, it was just some of the stuff that went down when he got surrounded by the people and the druid wannabes and stuff. And he's like whatever it was, are we going to do this or what?
Yeah,
I'm like, did he just turn into Clint Eastwood or some shit? It was fantastic. And it was just so nicely shot, so well put together. You had the club show up and like, and like it just jumped from horror to action to horror to action. And it was just, I really hope out of all this and all this mess and everything that's gone on, especially for WWE, I really hope they realize that they can do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if they take their time and let the right people write it, it could be pulled off very well. Because we've seen it very bad, but we have seen it done very well. And I really hope that they take some notice and make it a 2-night event. It was, move NXT to Friday nights, the Friday night, and then have WrestleMania 2 nights, because you could have long matches. You could have way too long of matches, like we saw with the last standing match with Edge and Orton.
Yes.
Do you agree with that was too long?
I was also playing Madden and or working during that. I think I was working, and then my laptop decided not to work, and my feed went out, so I pulled it up on my laptop, and then I played Madden. So I was doing other things. But yes, I think I played 2 Madden games before that match ended. And
it was 40 minutes. Yeah. It was at least 40 minutes. And I'm like, and people are like, and that's another one, people are back and forth on it. And they're like, they really had to build the tension. I'm like, they didn't build it right, though. Because if they were building it right, you would have been glued to that screen the whole time, not 20, 30 minutes in going, okay, I'm bored.
I loved that it went 40 minutes, and the only reason that I'm okay with it going 40 minutes is because they genuinely beat the crap out of each other to the point where you're like, yeah, this is a grudge match. This is a WrestleMania grudge match. Yeah. And that was the only match that genuinely felt like that. All the others were, okay, maybe the Charlotte one was kind of a grudge match in a way, but that one had more pomp and circumstance. This was a fight. And my favorite spot, because I'll be honest, I missed the whole Spider-Man off the cage.
That was awesome. That was really cool.
But I loved the fact that that they got a weight plate and he kicked him in the face with it. That was my favorite spot. Because I've always wanted to kick someone when they grabbed a weight plate when they're being stupid in the gym. So thank you, WWE. I have now lived that fantasy through Edge. Obviously, I have no reason to not love Edge.
When's the Edge cosplay coming? Because we need that. I bet you can pull it off.
Man, don't tempt me, man.
You need to do the old. It was when he was feuding with Cena and he had the cool jacket. Yeah.
That would be the old school rated R superstar when he first. Yes. That was a good. What a storyline.
How amazing how ripped and good looking he is now, though. He looks even better than that time at his very young age. He just makes me feel bad for myself.
Same, man. So same. I was like, I looked down and looked up and I was like, I need to stop drinking beer, dude. I was like, I might be done drinking for a bit, bro. He's like, why? I was like, because he's like 50 and he's in better shape than me. I can't let this slide.
It's insane. He looks great. I can't wait to see what they do with him next. Hopefully
that he goes and him and Seth Rollins have a program, because Seth is a heel, and when Seth was a heel last time, he tried to curb stomp him when he was. I'm trying to remember, did he have the title, or was it just he was still Money in the Bank holder? I think he was still Money in the Bank holder. Yeah. And he tried to stomp him, and then it's like, like those two. I love Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is probably my favorite new superstar in the sense that they're still young, and AJ's pretty old in wrestling standards. But I would have to say that Seth Rollins is this weird combination of like 10 wrestlers at once. And it's just on a whole different level. And he's my personal favorite. He's always doing great, whether he's good or bad. I'm always like, this is why. Like him and Kevin Owens are probably up there in my top 3.
Kevin Owens is the man.
I love Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is the everyman who will genuinely be able to do a moonsault, and it's like, I'm all right, bro. You do all the moonsaults. I'll sit
I
down.
don't even like. I love Kevin Owens. I liked him already when he popped in, but there was this video that came out, and it was like one of the live tours, and they do the video, and he comes out and he comes to the mic, and all this stuff is the best. But he comes out, and they're in. I can't remember where the hell they were, but he's like, he looks at the camera and he's like, I'm going to get these morons to chant USA while two Canadian wrestlers are in the ring. Because I think it was him and Sammy going against each other. and it cuts to like a little bit later in the match. And they're like, USA, USA. And he looks at the camera again. And he's like, I told you I was going to get these morons to chant for USA. Two Canadians in the ring and these morons are chanting USA. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm like, he's my ultimate favorite now.
My favorite is from when he was wrestling, I think it was Roman. He was wrestling someone, and someone in the crowd, I wish I remembered the exact everything that happened, because they yell at him, and he turns around and he says something that was so on the verge of not being PG while still being PG that everyone else around them died laughing at him because he got burned by Kevin Owens in the middle of fighting. I think it was Roman for the WWE title at the time. Probably. And it was at a live event, and he just burned the dude in the front row, and everyone became a fan of Kevin Owens in that exact instant.
Oh yeah. Now I have to say that Sage wrote on here, Pop says men just get better looking with age. And Terry from Ireland says that they have all the amazing wrestlers, but the bad writing, which has been an issue with WWE.
100% true.
Yeah. What did you think of? This will probably be a bit of our last thought because we're at the end of the hour, and I try to keep it behaved and stay in the hour. But what did you think of the two world title pictures? Did you like them? Hate them? How'd you feel?
I'm not a fan of Goldberg. I used to be, and then I just stopped being a fan of Goldberg. I disagree with the fact that he's just plowing through everyone in like 3 minutes or less. That's really frustrating. I don't think he can last over 3 minutes in a ring.
He's never really been able to.
Yeah, which is like it's like I don't know about that, man. So him losing was always in the cards, which I knew, and I'm stoked that Braun Strowman I was excited for Roman because I would love Roman since the beginning. I boo him when they overpushed him, but I'm a fan of him and his work and his family.
I liked when he worked with Elias, and I got really liking him then. And when he hit Elias with the cello and they started doing a little bit more of the funnier stuff, that's when I really got into him.
And then I love the Braun Strowman one. Finally, he deserves it. He's worked really hard. But I've been a fan of Drew McIntyre since the moment he came back because he's a different beast entirely. Pun intended, because he beat Brock Lesnar, who I'm also not a fan of in the WWE. But, I mean, it's because he's so legitimate that it's like, don't give him the title because we know he's never going to be there.
Right.
We know he's never going to lose it to anybody in a random event. It's got to be built up. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. So
it's got to be Saudi Arabia.
Very expected. That it's like, oh, well, he's wrestling this guy. He's not losing to him. Oh, he's wrestling him. He's not going to lose to him. There's no way they let him lose to him. The only one that shocked me was when Seth Rollins cashed in the title at WrestleMania 31 and won that. That was the only time
that was so awesome.
Oh, dude.
That was fantastic.
I lost it. But I love Drew McIntyre, and I respect Brock Lesnar. Don't get me wrong. It's just the way they've written him it bothers me.
Yeah, it's tiring. And then when you get somebody like, going for the title and then he just shows up and gets it, it's like,
it's like, oh.
And they're like, oh, he sells and he draws and he's like the best for the. I'm like, no, you got an entire list of people that can make you the top company of everything. And you keep shoving them down at the bottom, like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and so many others that it's just a mess. It really is.
The real thing is he's going to draw no matter what. He doesn't have to be champion.
Nah. Nah,
like,
he could fight everybody and not be champion. He could just be the badass.
Yeah. When John Cena shows up, he doesn't have to be champion. People watch. When the Undertaker shows up, he doesn't have to be champion. People watch. They're a name draw. They no longer have to be the champion. Mm-hmm. That's why I think Triple H stopped going for the WWE title after his authority set, because he's like, I'm not needed. A, he doesn't want to. I mean, he wants to be champion, because who doesn't? You're a professional.
Right.
You're in the business to be the best. But B, he's trying to build up all of his other guys who have been under his wing in NXT, like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, who continuously keeps getting unfortunate
scenarios. That poor dude.
Yeah.
I keep wanting him to get so much bigger in WWE, and then every time he starts, it's just another injury. I'm like,
he got suspended this time, and it's like, oh, bollocks. Man.
Well, we could be talking about wrestling all night and bore everybody out of their mind. But it's getting into the end of the show. So I want to give you a big thank you for coming in, Thomas. Go ahead. I'm going to make you full screen. You promote all your stuff one more time, and then I'll promote mine, and we'll get on out of here.
All right. So you can, again, find me on Facebook. That is facebook.com/Thomas Carter Rochester. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces. Instagram @Thomas Carter Rochester. Same as before, no hyphens, no spaces. Twitter, TRochester749. The TikTok is Thor, Son of Dale. You can also find my podcast, Lights, Thunder, Action Podcast, that is co-hosted with David Thompson, as we talk about all things nerd, all things film. We won't talk about wrestling because he's not a fan. That's a bummer for him. And that is at Lights, Thunder, Action Podcast, facebook.com/Lights, Thunder, Action Podcast. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces. Love you.
Man, you're really good at that. I like that. I'm still learning all my stuff at the end now, but I am Josh of J Bauer Art. I am the host of Back Talk with Bauer. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can find all my artwork at jbauerartshop.com, and you can find all of my shenanigans anywhere on Facebook at jbauerart. And then you can find, if you count the middle of this, the end of this, whatever it is, and you didn't see the full thing, you can catch the full episode on the HWWS WebTV YouTube channel. It'll be posted Thursday around noon, so please go and subscribe to that. You can catch this show. You can catch all my time-lapse videos. There's a brand new one that dropped today of me building a Ferrari Lego. And then there's more live paintings coming up. And then you can also catch shows like Kevin and Mia, Hanging with Web show, of course, Kitchen Killer stuff, Brevard, all kinds of different people. There's tons of people. It's basically, we made our own network. You can also catch myself, Thomas, Hanging with Web Show, and a plethora of amazing people at CyberCon 2020. It is April 17th through the 19th. Please come on in. It's a free event. You don't even have to wear pants. You could just sit from your couch and watch the entire thing. We are starting at noon on that Friday, going till 6 p.m. that Sunday. I am live painting Friday night, 9:05 live with the Kitchen Killers. Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then I have another live painting thing Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then you can also catch the podcast super show that I am hosting 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. That Saturday, which is the 18th. So if you missed any of that, just hit the replay button or find the links below. Thomas, thank you so much for popping in. This was great. It was great to get to know you more and find out more all about your awesomeness. And I look forward to working with you more. And hopefully we can cause some shenanigans later this year at different events. And maybe we can drive GW even crazier.
Oh, we will. We will. And thank you for having me. It is a pleasure. It's great to get to know you through this. Great to know where wrestling marks as well.
Yes. There will be more wrestling stuff, especially when it comes back full time. I see us doing some like wrestling things because I'm going to have this be live for a while. So I'm going to make sure the $30 is well spent every time. Ooh, and that is one more plug I need to do. If you would like to be a sponsor of this show, I am looking for sponsors. You could sponsor a week. You could sponsor a month. Please message me, and I will make sure that your stuff's in the thing. We'll chat about you at the beginning and the end of the show. I'll even make like a banner or something to put around here somewhere. So if you'd like to be the official sponsor of Back Talk with Bauer, please message me or email me at jbauerart@gmail.com. All right, Thomas, thank you so much, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.
Bye, Bookface.